Energized show, up the Irish.
Okay, what's going on, guys, and welcome to a brand new episode of Energized. Ross, introduce the guest.
Today we have undefeated flyweight, Cage Warriors at EFC flyweight champion, Dana White Contender Series sensation, Jake Hadley. Jake, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. You?
Man, never better. Look at that Dana White Contender Series t-shirt. How many of them did you get?
What you say, sorry?
How many of those Dana White Contender Series t-shirts did you get?
About 5 or 6 of them, to be fair.
Nice.
Oh, lovely, lovely. And come here.
That's what you get when you get everyone to tune in and watch you win. Like that's what happens, you know.
And then shout out to the Violent Money guys as well. They're nice guys over there.
Yeah, man, they support me, so I gotta support them. You get me?
Absolutely, absolutely. Jake, obviously you're fresh off your second round rear naked choke win on Dana White Contender Series. What was that moment like when it was announced you got the contract from Dana White?
Well, obviously, you know, I knew I was eventually going to be in the UFC. That was just like, I knew that was going to happen, but I kind of didn't expect to get signed after the fight because of obviously the weight miss, you know, and I guess being, you know, in a bit of trouble with the UFC as well. I didn't expect to get signed. I maybe expected another shot on Contender Series because at the end of the day, I knew my win was impressive. And I know what I've done before I signed to the UFC was even more than impressive. So, you know, I knew my pedigree would be maybe enough to give me another shot. But to get the contract, you know, just shows how much Dana White thinks of me, you know, because he went against his matchmakers, his business partners, and signed me. And he said how much of a true talent I am. He spoke to me in the back as well, said how much of a special fighter I am. You know, that is something I already know. I already know I'm a special fighter. You know, but to hear it from the boss man, he knows the best, let's be real. Like, he's the best in the fight business, any fight business, including like boxing or anything. He's the best in Dana White. He knows when someone's going to be a star. And he's never wrong, is he? Let's be real. So, you know, he knows I'm going to be a star, and he went against his business partners and picked me up. So that was quite a shock.
Yeah.
So
yeah, make sure to check out Jake's Instagram to check out that moment as well. That was an unbelievable moment.
Jake, tell us a bit about that. What's called obviously Sean Shelby and Mick Maynard seem to have some sort of issue against you. Was that just the weight cut, or did something else happen during the week that they seem to think that, you know, you weren't a nice guy or something through the week? That's sort of the feeling I got from Dana White's words. Can you give us any insight to that?
Well, I've never even spoke to Mick Maynard or Sean Shelby, to be honest. So if I've upset them, I definitely don't know what I've done to upset them because I haven't even spoke to them. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I wouldn't say I've done anything to them from not to want to pick me up. Or the only thing I could say is obviously I've missed the weight, so they're not.
And what happened with the weight? Well, sorry, Jake.
Well,
because you've never done it before.
No, I've never missed the weight before. I've always made weight. I've always, when I say I've always, the last 3 or 4 years, I've really grown into the weight, and I'm a big flyweight now. Like, you know, I'm a very big flyweight, and obviously, I was meant to fight. I was in camp for like 8-9 weeks. The fight got pulled because of my visa, and I was told directly by my manager, who was speaking directly to the UFC, that I would not fight on Contender Series and not to get my hopes up. I will not be fighting. So I was completely out of camp for 3 weeks. When I say I was completely out of camp, I still trained twice a day, 6 days a week. But as far as, you know, my weight, it went back up. You know what I mean? Yeah. I was not training for a fight. I was out of camp for three and a half weeks. They hit it on me short notice, 2.5 week notice to make, you know, fight. You know, I believed I could make the weight, and I was making the weight, and it was going successfully. Basically, what I believe, you know, I can't 100% put my you know, hand on it and say this is definitely what happened, but basically I was in Vegas, I was sweating all the time, I was training hard, sweating and that, and then I must have ate something or drank something, was held onto water onto my body. Imagine I'm doing extra sessions than I'd normally do, this close to a fight, and I'm not even sweating with the heating on and everything in the room and this red hot Vegas weather. I'm not getting up in the night and having a wee or anything like that, which is usually something what would happen when you're trying to, when you're losing the weight and that the water weight. But
I actually said that to Barry during the week because obviously you made championship weight in EFC and championship weight in Cage Warriors. So I was like, he normally has to make 125 on the button. So I was like, it must be something to do with maybe the food you ate in America, salty or something like that, as opposed to all your previous fights. Well, bar the EFC one was in Africa, was in the UK. I was like, he probably has brought his own food with him, so he's more controlled. So do you think it was maybe that you weren't as in control of the food as you normally would be if you're fighting in the UK?
Yeah, I honestly believe it's something to do with the water. I can't 100% say it was, but I know like I'd happened to drink these waters and I'd like water loaded on these waters. It just said purified water on it, and then I picked up the box which was on the floor, and then I've read sodium, and I've thought shit. And obviously sodium holds onto water, so like I was a bit panicking. Then I was like, oh shit, and then I've stopped sweating and stuff like that. A couple of days later, and I was like, I already knew I was in problems, so I started cutting weight early because I already knew I knew by not sweating in track, like wrapping up layers and layers of clothing and hitting pads hard, which I normally wouldn't do that. And not even sweating, I was thinking, shit, I'm in for an hard weight cut this time. Because, I cut a lot of weight anyway, but I knew I was in for a struggle this time. And then, I've come to do my bath and, my weight cut and that. And I get in the first bath and I'm sweating and that, but I've only lost 0.3. And then that was a panic then. We was like, shit, So basically, we just cut all night long, all morning, all through the night, all through the morning, never slept one bit. And so
the joys of a man.
Thank God you didn't invite me, man.
What do you say, sorry?
I said, thank God you didn't invite me.
I must have cut weight for 10 hours straight. And basically, I would have made the weight, but I just ran out of time. And then the worst thing about it is when I ran out of time for the weight, we was like, all right, then we'll miss weight now. And we might have enough time to met the weight. We've got 1 pound left. And anyway, we get in there. I missed the weight. And then one person tells us to go wait over here. So we're waiting over here for a bit. 20 minutes goes past. I'm like, man, I can't keep waiting here. I need to lose the weight. So I get one of my coaches to go up to the guy, and he's like, what are you waiting there for? Go cut your weight. I'm like, oh, man. So I've been waiting here for nothing. Like, you know what I mean? That just took 20 minutes off me. Like, yeah. So, like, it was just a bit of a mess. But at the end of the day, I believe in my mind, I believe that it was all meant to happen for a reason. I've had a hard year this year in my personal life and that and stuff. And I feel like, in a way, it was like a test from God to say to me, how bad do you want it? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I'll even make you miss weight and everything. Let's see if you could still perform under the pressure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, this is what I do, and I went out there and I still performed either way. And after a hard weight cut, I tell you, you know what I mean? So that just shows you I can perform under anything. And I know it was only a 2-round fight, but like fought at a fast pace, and I wasn't even breathing out my mouth. You know what I mean? I was still breathing out my nose, and that's a guy who's just done 10 hours straight in the flipping bath. You know what I mean? So yeah, man.
You're probably fighting the best version of Mitch Raposo you'll ever see, because he was fresh off the Ultimate Fighter as well, so he was like in there training his ass off as well. So it was an absolutely incredible performance, and probably one that was unnecessary. Did you feel that maybe you should have been straight into the UFC without having to go the Contender Series route?
I've heard talks of, the matchmakers are going to give him this and that and this and that now. Through, I don't know if they don't like me. I should imagine that they should like me because I'm a nice enough geezer to anyone. You know what I mean? I haven't spoke 2 words to any of them, so but like I weren't having no favors anyway. You know what I mean?
You know what, something, Jake? I don't think anyone wants to fight you. You know that? I don't think anyone would be lining up to fight White Kong anytime soon. I think you're a real problem in this division and you're right in the mix at the very top straight away. I think they'll be struggling to get matches with you at the start because because at the end of the day, they'll look at your record, they'll see you're a champion in multiple organizations, and they'll be like, nah, they'll want to see you get 2 or 3 fights in before they'll be forced to fight you. I don't think any of these guys, ranked 10 to 15 will want to take Jay Kong in the first out in Barry. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I was going to throw that back to you, Ross. Why can't people watch Jake Hadley fights? For people that haven't seen it.
I just think Jake's pace is relentless, and he has power on the feet, and also he's as dangerous on the ground as we saw in the Contender series. And I just think when it comes to European talent, Jake is up there with the best. He's undefeated in his pro career for a reason. He's a champ in 2 of the top organizations outside of the UFC. And I look at the UFC rankings and I pull them up, and there's no reason why we couldn't see Jake Hadley in there with Alex Perez, Pantoja, Askarov, Kai Kara-France right up there straight away. And I think I think he'd probably originally be the underdog, come closer to the fight night. You could see that betting line change, and Jake Hadley, I'm shocked he's not already in the UFC, to be honest, at this stage.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Like I was saying, I should have already been in the UFC. But the guys who they offered me on Contenders, Clayton Rodriguez originally, he was a jungle fight champion, and look what he went on to do on Contenders. He went on to smash a geezer up. Mitch Raposo, he's a big talent, number 1 pick on the Ultimate Fighter, number 1 overall pick. I've heard through the grapevine this guy's a real talent and real expected to go far, you know what I mean? And to be honest, I just had my way with him, you know what I mean? As in, I fought him in his own game, which is the striking, and I was winning that. And then as soon as I thought, right, now it's my time now to take over now, I just took him down and just choked him out as easy as anything. You know what I mean? And as far as these guys in the UFC, yeah, I'm ready for anyone you can bring in. I don't care, man. Like, obviously, they got to discuss it with my management, but I don't care, man. I could, fast track me as much as you want because I'll be richer quicker. That's what it's about. So,
the other thing which is rare in the flyweight division is you're an absolute finisher. You've only been the distance once with Luke Shanks, and I think you won that fight 50-45 across the score.
Yeah, and I went to decision with Zulu, but he was a world champion as well. So I've been decision twice, but 2 5-round fights, and I weren't hardly even breathing. And these are against guys where, especially Zulu, I was only 3-0, and he was 11-2, and he was multiple time world champion, and already fought on the Ultimate Fighter. So this just shows you, I've been through in the deep end straight from the beginning of my career. You know what I mean? And I'm a real problem.
He really is, Basil.
This is great time, and I think actually, Jake, I know you felt like you got the short end of the straw going on the Contender series, but to be honest, from the outside looking in, you've gotten the biggest push of the Contender series I've seen since Sean O'Malley. I may be wrong there, but you can say I'm wrong there. But the way, like, obviously Paddy Pimblett is blown up, the way they wanted the whole UK card coming over. Next time you're going to be on that, like, you're only a couple of fights away from a title shot, I believe. So, like, this is actually the perfect push, I think, for yourself. I know you missed the weight, I know nothing's exactly perfect, but it's the best push I've seen in a while.
Yeah, well, in a way, it was kind of. I know it's never going to happen again. I'm never going to miss the weight again, or upset anyone again, or or anything like that. But if anything, it's helped my profile. You know what I mean?
Are you going to change your nickname to Nice Kong?
That's Nice Kong there, not White Kong there. The funny thing is, they wouldn't even call me White Kong. I don't know what happened there. Like they cut it out of my promo. But anyway, I don't know why that is.
Jake, tell us this. Obviously, you went viral after the fight, and it wasn't actually for the fight. It was. Can you tell us what birthday it was, where you blew out the candles and you wished you were going to be a UFC fighter, and made that happen? I think that was shared on the UFC Instagram, Dana White's Instagram, probably your own Instagram as well. What was your phone like after that video went up, and what age were you in that video?
My phone went absolutely crazy. I went from, I think I was like on maybe 8,000 Instagram followers after my win, and then I put that video on the internet, and I've gone up to 25,000 on Instagram.
So you trebled in the space of a week.
It's space of like a day and a couple of days, So yeah, it went absolutely crazy. But yeah, that was my 9th birthday. But even before then, I was wishing to be a UFC fighter. I hadn't even started training then. And I was already wishing to be a UFC fighter. So
that's mad thing, Paz. That was what, 2007, 14 years ago. And here you are now, signed to the UFC, one of the most exciting prospects out of Europe, and on the road to a title, really. You know what I mean? Like, I rarely say it, and I rarely come out and sort of, put my sort of hat on someone and be like, that's one to watch. But like, when it comes to you, Jake, I'm like, he can really get in there and compete with the very best in the world right away. And especially at the flyweight weight class as well. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, the water is much shallower in terms of talent. I think the top 5 are brilliant. And past that, I think, there's quite a drop off. I don't know if you view it the same way.
I view the top 5 guys are very good, but I also view what I've had a look myself. I don't think the guys are that far off. Like, I don't really think, like, if I went in and thought, I don't know, let's just say number 13, I don't think number 13 is any better or any worse than an unranked fighter.
We're going to leave a comment here, by the way. Leave a comment saying who you think Jake should fight next. Yeah. Go ahead. Carry on, sorry.
Yeah, I don't think, I think I think all of them are good. I think when you talk about flyweight's the best skill level of any weight division. You know what I mean? Like, the best skilled opponents, and the flyweights are getting, better as in them knocking people out nowadays as well. It weren't like 5 years ago when they weren't knocking people out. Flyweights are knocking each other out now. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of talent in the flyweight division. I think it's the hardest division, in my opinion, to win a belt in, because they're the most skilled. I'm going to win a belt, but like Dana says, I'm a special talent. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
there you go.
It's also the way you add a bit of swag, the way you after you won the fight, the way you walked off. That was a viral reel as well, and I was like, that's exactly what they need, and that's what this side of the world needs as well. Like, and you can be the face of that in that division as well. And like, obviously, Figueiredo is taking on Brandon Moreno for the 3rd time. What's just going to make of that fight, and who do you think is going to take the win?
They're both good fighters. I think Moreno's got his number now. I think as well, Figueiredo, he probably cuts too much weight as well, or cuts too much weight wrong, because he's a big flyweight. He don't like it when you fight him back. You know what I mean? He likes it when you back up from him. And I think Moreno noticed that in the last fight and stuck it on him a little bit more, stayed with him in the pocket a bit more, and they like that. So I think Moreno's got his number, to be honest. But I wouldn't be surprised if Figueiredo whacks him and finishes him. But I got to go with Moreno. But they're both great fighters at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think Figueiredo got that champ check, and he was like, right, I'm going out and enjoying this. That's the thing. For people watching right now, I don't know if Ross will come back. I think he's doing something more fun, is he? But Jake, like, what's the story for the rest of the year now? Obviously, like, your phone's blowing up. I'm sure it's hard to get back to people, but like, are you just sort of, are you just keeping your eyes focused on the division, or like are you trying to get in again for the rest of the year?
Well, if I'm gonna fight before the end of the year, it's gonna be really on the last show of the year. I've been talking already with Dana and stuff about getting a fight, but I know all the shows are full till February. Obviously, if I can't get on late December, then February is probably the best for me. Obviously, over the Christmas period, it's hard to get training partners and stuff. So, yeah, if not the last show of the year, December, I think it's December the 18th. Then February, I'd like to get back in and verse whoever and wherever. Really, I ain't really too fussed. I did mention Little Figueiredo after the fight. I think that's a nice fight to have. But I don't really give a shit. So they can send whoever.
Ross, we were just talking about Figueiredo before you went off. Figueiredo versus Moreno, and what Jake would like to do next. Is there anything else you want to say to Jake before we wrap things up?
No, I just apologize, guys. All the power went to my entire estate, and everything just went shut off. So I do apologize about that, Jake. Basmo, yeah. I did just see is I wasn't trying to be rude.
No.
Everything just went, and I'm actually sitting here in the darkness. Who knows what I'm going to do without television and Wi-Fi for the next couple of hours? But I might have to talk to my family. But no, Jake, I really appreciate the time. You coming on the show, really appreciate it. You're an absolute legend. I hope everyone follows your journey. It's going to be an epic one. And as always, stay energized.
Energized show, up the Irish. Been sussing you guys a couple of times. I've seen a couple of clips. I think you've done some interviews with Dylan Moran and that I saw. So keep going, keep up the good work, guys.